I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the Buck Hollow trailhead. Yep, there's the gray ghost. Right there's US Route 211. I'm at the bottom of the mountain on the east side near Sperryville, Virginia. And we're going to get on the Buck Hollow trailhead and head on up to climb the mountain up to Skyline Drive and then loop back along Buck Ridge. The elevation here is 1,080 feet. .3 miles into my hike, I'm up to 1,115 feet elevation, and this is the intersection with the well, it's a split. I'm going to go to the right, that's Buck Hollow, and then when I come back, I'll come back this way from the left. This will be Buck Ridge. So this loop is Buck Hollow and Buck Ridge. We're going to go straight on up Buck Hollow. Mountain laurel. This plant here is still in bloom. .43 miles into my hike, I'm up to 1170. Here's another crossing. Let's see, I've crossed headwaters twice down near my car. This is the first time on the trail. Let's see here. So these are the headwaters of the Thornton River coming down. This creek's probably got a name. I'll have to look it up. I don't know what it is right now, but we'll look it up. But it goes down there and it dumps into the Thornton River. Seven-tenths of a mile into my hike, I'm up to 1,250 feet. And it's kind of funny, as I was climbing up the mountain, I was looking over this way going, you know, this is a pretty nice, you know, for mountain terrain. This is fairly level, smooth and level. And I look over here, and here's this big honking pile of rocks right there. See that? I'll mark that with my GPS. That thing's big. I mean, it's about 6 feet high, and I'd say from one side to the other, wow, maybe 20 feet. See that? And then over there is another one. And then I'm gonna climb up here just a little ways because I thought I saw some kind of a post in the ground up here, so we'll see what that is. Okay, well, down there's where I came from. I just walked up here. There isn't a whole lot of brush here. I think I said I thought I saw a post in the ground. I think it was a figment of my imagination. That stick there, or part of a tree sticking up, is probably what I saw. But anyway, what's really even more interesting is that looks a lot like a driveway, and look what it comes up to. Here's another rock pile, and this is a great big one too. So this probably was some sort of a dwelling that was you know, set into the side of the hill here. The low side would have had a lot of these rocks, and probably faced that way. The water's down that way, and you've got this really nice flat area here. So, and the trail's down that way. The driveway's heading down towards the trail. So I'll probably rejoin the trail by just going down the driveway here. I'll have to look up who owned this land. I don't know. I didn't come prepared for all that because the old maps didn't really show any dwellings. .4 miles into my hike. I'm up to 1,445 feet. I'm at a, I show it on my map. For some reason I had marked this as a potential camping spot, but I don't think so. I'm going to take that off the map. It's a good spot to come down and get water though. There's the trail right there. And you can come right down here and get water. Here, I'll do a 180. That's looking upstream. So this was my camp spot number 2. I'm taking it away, and just note that this is, you can get water here. And camp spot further down the mountain where I came from, camp spot number 1, I'm going to move that over to where those big rock piles are that I showed you. .8 miles into my hike. I'm up to 1,630 feet, and I'm at a point. I'll show you on the map talk. There's a point coming up here where the road has a fork in it, and the old map shows the road going straight ahead, which would be that way, and then it had what looked like almost like a driveway heading off to the left. Well, that's this. So somewhere along the line between the 1920s and now, it looks to me like what they did was they shut down the rest of the road heading up this way and rerouted it for some reason. Could be it got washed out in a flood or something, so they went up this way. But anyway, you'll see the new route from my GPS track. And note to myself, I repositioned this point by about 185 feet. .3 miles into my hike, I'm up to 2,810 feet elevation. That's Skyline Drive. This is my turnaround point. This is the Meadow Spring parking lot. Bunch of people in here today. There's my day pack. And I'm gonna head on back down. It's about 3 miles down to my car, but it's all downhill. I'm gonna go over that way to the right and start out on Hazel Mountain Road and then take a left on Buck Ridge and follow that down. .8 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2,630 feet elevation. And here's the intersection with the Buck Ridge Trail. Hazel Mountain Road continues on that way to the right. We're going to turn left and go down to US 211 along Buck Ridge, which is this trail here. Four and a half miles into my hike, I'm at 2,480 feet elevation, and huge amounts of mountain laurel in through here. All this white stuff you see is mountain laurel in bloom, and it's, you know, 7, 8 feet high in some places. See that? Just starting to bloom there. So anyway, lots and lots of mountain laurel up here at 2,800 feet. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Thornton Gap, 1994, and I hiked the Buck Hollow Loop. There's two main trails. There's Buck Hollow Trail, which is here in the hollow, and then there's the Buck Ridge Trail, which is here along a ridge line. This is US Route 211 coming into the park. There's the park boundary. Sperryville's down this way, and you park here on the left side of the road. There's a pull-off here, and this is the first trailhead that you'll come to when you come inside the park on 211. Park here, and you get on the Buck Hollow Trail, which starts right there. You cross over the Thornton River a couple of times, and then you'll reach a concrete signpost, make a right, and continue on the Buck Hollow Trail. When I got up into this area, I noticed, and you can actually tell from the contour lines here, they're spread out. This was a nice area, flat, relatively flat, not a whole lot of underbrush. And I noticed some rock piles, so I went over to investigate those. They were right about here on the map. And this is also a nice area you could camp at. There's no established camp spot there, but it's nice and level and cleared out. And you've got access to the water right here. There's plenty of water. So I think that'd be a good camping spot. Continue on up the hollow here. When you get to this point right here, I'll show you on the older map here in a minute, but the older map shows this continuing straight and following along the bank of the river. But that's not what happens anymore. It makes a sharp bend and starts climbing in a really steep section up through here, and eventually comes back along the river. So I think what happened here was, I think it used to just come straight up like this. Somewhere along the line, this got washed out in a flood, and I guess they just decided, instead of, if it washed out once, it'll wash out again eventually. So why build it back? They just went ahead and came up here on higher ground and climbed the mountain like that. Anyway, keep following this on up to here. This is Skyline Drive and the Meadow Spring parking area. So then continue the loop. You come down on, let's see, this is Hazel Mountain Road until you get to this signpost here, and then you make a left onto the Buck Ridge Trail, and then you follow this all the way back down, rejoin Buck Hollow Trail, and back to the car. Now right in through here, this is a really steep section, and what they've done is they've to prevent erosion, they've put in all these steps. I passed somebody coming the other way, and they said they counted the steps. It was like 610 steps. Each step is like a wooden log laid across the trail to prevent erosion. Really, really steep in through here, but the guy I passed said it was 610 steps. So on my GPS track, you'll see a point where I just called it 600 steps. Now, before I sign off, this is Stony Man 1929. And if you look at the Buck Hollow Road coming up, here's 211. And Buck Hollow Road comes up. Now, when you get up to here, you'll notice that it continues straight up this way. And then they show a little side piece right here. This is where they rerouted the trail up this way. So that's the old map. It was kind of a long hike, 6.6 miles. And you can see it took me 5 hours and 42 minutes. Well, that's like 1 mile an hour hiking speed, which is pretty slow. Total ascent of 1,801 foot. And that was the hike for today.